These are 9 relationships you should have, but you don't. Ever feel like your social circle is missing something? These connections could be the secret ingredient to leveling up your life and becoming the best version of yourself. Trust me, you'll want to take notes on this one. Hey there, self-improvers! Welcome back to our channel. Today we're talking about something that might just change your life. The relationships you should have, but probably don't. Now, before you start thinking, oh great, another video telling me I need a significant other, let me stop you right there. We're going way beyond romantic relationships today, folks. Let's start with some mind-blowing facts. Did you know that according to a 2021 study, people with diverse social networks report higher levels of life satisfaction and mental well-being? That's right. It's not just about having a lot of friends, it's about having the right mix of relationships in your life. Now, you might be thinking, but I have friends and family. Isn't that enough? Well, let me tell you, while those relationships are crucial, they're just the tip of the iceberg. We're about to dive deep into the ocean of human connections. And trust me, there's a whole world down there you've been missing out on. First up, let's talk about the relationship you have with yourself. I know, you've heard this before. But hear me out. In our society, we're bombarded with messages about self-care and self-love. And while those are important, they can sometimes lead us to overrate our relationship with ourselves. Don't get me wrong, self-care is crucial. But if you're spending all your time focused on yourself, you might be missing out on the rich tapestry of relationships that can truly enhance your life. Now let's talk about a relationship that's often underrated. The best friend. Sure, we all have friends, but do you have that one person you can call at 3 a.m. when your world is falling apart? That person who will drop everything to be there for you? If you don't, it might be time to cultivate that relationship. Having a best friend isn't just about having someone to hang out with on weekends. It's about having a support system, a sounding board, and someone who will call you out when you're not being your best self. Studies have shown that having a close friend can reduce stress, improve mental health, and even increase your lifespan. So if you don't have a best friend, it might be time to level up one of your existing friendships. But let's not stop there. Another relationship that's often overlooked is the mentor relationship. Now, I'm not talking about some stuffy old guy in a suit giving you career advice, although that can be valuable too. I'm talking about finding someone who's a few steps ahead of you in life, someone who can provide guidance, wisdom, and maybe even open some doors for you. Think about it. How many times have you faced a challenge and thought, I wish I knew someone who's been through this before? That's where a mentor comes in. They've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. And the best part? Being a mentor is beneficial for them too. It's a two-way street of learning and growth. Now here's where it gets interesting. Have you ever considered the value of having a rival? I'm not talking about an enemy here, but someone who challenges you, pushes you to be better. Think about some of the greatest rivalries in history. Jobs and Gates, Federer and Nadal. These rivalries drove innovation, excellence, and personal growth. A rival can be someone in your field, someone with similar goals but different methods. They keep you on your toes, push you to innovate, and challenge your assumptions. Without a rival, it's easy to get complacent, to settle for good enough. But with a rival, the sky's the limit. Let's talk about another often overlooked relationship, the community leader. This could be a religious leader, a community organizer, or even the person who runs your local book club. These people provide a sense of belonging, a connection to something larger than ourselves. In our increasingly isolated world, having a connection to your community can be a lifeline. Now, here's a relationship that might surprise you, the elder. And no, I'm not just talking about your grandparents. Well, they're important too. I'm talking about seeking out relationships with people who have lived through different eras, who have a perspective that's totally different from your own. Elders can provide context, wisdom, and a long-term perspective that's hard to get anywhere else. They've seen trends come and go, lived through historical events, and have a wealth of life experience to share. In many cultures, elders are revered for their wisdom. In our youth-obsessed culture, we often overlook this valuable resource. Here's another relationship you might not have considered, the acquaintance. Now, I know what you're thinking. Acquaintances, aren't those just people I'm not close enough with to call friends? Well, yes and no. Acquaintances serve a unique purpose in our social network. They're the weak ties that can lead to new opportunities, new perspectives, and new circles of friends. Think about it. How many times have you heard about a great job opportunity or a cool event through someone you barely know? Acquaintances are like social bridges, connecting us to new worlds and possibilities. So next time you're at a party or a networking event, don't just stick to the people you know. Strike up a conversation with someone new You never know where it might lead. Let's circle back to something we touched on earlier, peers. These are the people who are in the same stage of life as you, facing similar challenges and opportunities. Peers can provide a sense of camaraderie, of we're in this together. They can also provide healthy competition, pushing you to achieve more. But here's the thing, not all peer relationships are created equal. It's important to surround yourself with peers who inspire you, who challenge you to be better. As the saying goes, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose your peers wisely. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but I'm an introvert. I don't want all these relationships. And that's okay. The goal isn't to have every single one of these relationships. It's about creating a well-rounded social network that supports your growth and happiness. If you're an introvert, you might focus on deepening a few key relationships rather than trying to build a vast network. Quality over quantity, right? The important thing is to recognize the value of different types of relationships and to be intentional about cultivating the ones that resonate with you. Let's talk about one more relationship that's often overlooked, the relationship with your future self. This might sound a bit abstract, but hear me out. How often do you make decisions with your future self in mind? Do you ever stop to think about how the choices you're making today will affect the person you'll be in 5, 10, or 20 years? Cultivating a relationship with your future self means making choices today that your future self will thank you for. It means investing in your health, your education, your relationships. It means saving for retirement even when it's tempting to splurge. It means taking care of the environment because your future self and future generations will have to live in it. So how do you start building these relationships? Well, it starts with awareness. Take a look at your current social network. Are there gaps? Are there relationships you could deepen or new ones you could cultivate? Next, be intentional. If you want a mentor, start reaching out to people you admire. If you want to connect with elders, volunteer at a retirement home. If you want to build community connections, get involved in local events or organizations. Remember, building relationships takes time and effort. It's not always easy, and it might feel uncomfortable at first, but the payoff in terms of personal growth, happiness, and life satisfaction is immeasurable. And here's the beautiful thing. As you build these relationships, you're not just enriching your own life. You're creating a ripple effect, touching the lives of others in ways you might not even realize. You might become someone else's best friend, mentor, or community leader. So there you have it, folks. The relationships you should have but probably don't. From best friends to rivals, from mentors to community leaders, from elders to enemies. Each of these relationships has something unique to offer in your journey of self-improvement. Now, I want to hear from you. What relationships do you think you're missing in your life? Which ones do you want to cultivate? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more self-improvement tips.